A very good afternoon, everyone. Today we have amongst us a very special guest, Miss Sreedevi Ravichand from Little Elly. This particular center is led by Mrs. Ekta Mitra, who's also her business partner, and Mrs. Sreedevi Ravichand. And they have over a decade of experience each in the field of early childcare and development. Mrs. Ekta Mitra started her career as a lecturer and being a mother who thoroughly enjoyed the company of her children. And she soon took up this passion of hers and started Little Elly branches at Arekere and Nobo Nagar. To further pursue her interest in childcare, she also took up advanced studies in early childhood education and counselling in Canada. She has also won the Best Entrepreneur Award in the year 2017. Mrs. Sreedevi Ravichand started her career as a teacher and developed a passion for working with little children. She joined Little Elly in the year 2010 and has a decade of experience in early child care and development. She has worked in multiple capacities as a teacher and a coordinator. She is also the recipient of the Best Coordinator Award at Little Elly for 2 years in a row. That's amazing. A very warm welcome to you, Mrs. Sreedevi. And thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
So, to begin with, I would like to understand from you that, of course, Little Elly has branches all over, but what was your thought behind starting this particular center?
So, as the introduction part said, my journey with Little Elly actually started as a parent.
Okay.
So when I first met Ekta, and when my son started coming to school, one thing I loved about Little Elly is obviously the curriculum, and the child always was happy. So I thoroughly believe a happy child, learns better in a happy environment. He came home, he was eagerly looking forward to go back to the next, school day. So that's something which really I liked, and I was a teacher even before that for older kids. So then I joined as a teacher. That's how I started my journey. I loved my job, to be very honest. Even today, I think I love that bit more than the administrative part of it, because they're those, young, innocent minds. You can't really let them know they love you. It's shown on their face. It's shown in their expressions and everything. So yeah, that's the reason for me. And that's how I partnered with Ekta. And yes, we have 2 successful branches of Little Elly.
So tell me, in a city like Bangalore, you have schools coming up probably in every nook and corner of the city, whether it's primary, secondary, and where preschools are concerned, of course, in every second or third lane. So with so many schools coming up, how does your center of Little Elly stand to make a difference amongst so many other schools?
Right. So one thing that we at Little Elly do, which is a lot different than many other preschools, is we combine 2 philosophies. One is the Montessori approach and one is the Waldorf approach. So Montessori, of course, all of us are very well aware of. You can, leave it to the child's pace of learning, which is the best way that a child can grow, develop emotionally, intelligently, everything. Waldorf is, a very threefold approach where you engage the head, the heart and the hands. So it's more of, hands-on doing. There's a lot of focus on creativity and imagination, which is very, very essential in today's world, especially to be creative and, think a little differently. So I believe there is where we make all the difference by allowing those young minds to, think beyond what's the regular box.
So tell me, you must have come across parents, who have asked this question probably maybe fewer times in preschool than it is often asked in the big schools, but it is there on the minds of parents, and that is that what board does the school follow? Now, though in the preschool or early years, it doesn't really come into the picture, but as an educator, do you think that the boards really define a child's success?
Boards don't define a child's success at all, because then we are talking only about the academic part of it, isn't it? We're not talking into the holistic individual that the child end up being. So boards are just different ways that we feel, something is better, this works better for a child, that works better for a child. So people have come out with different ideologies for sure, but that is not what defines a child. Definitely not.
And then, having met a lot of parents, you must have come across this scenario where a parent whose child is, say, about 3-4 years old, and there's another child who's of the same age group, and this particular parent feels that her child doesn't know as much as the other child does. So what would you like to tell the parents, that is there any particular way that a child learns best?
A child always learns best. One, you have to just let the child play. We like it or we don't like it. Play is the best way of teaching a child. And as I mentioned earlier, Little Elly does exactly that. We make learning fun because we truly believe that, a happy child will learn in a, happy environment. So every activity or whatever we try to teach them everything is very well associated with play, learning, happens just along the way. So we don't emphasize on learning. And again, another most important thing that we believe, myself and Ekta, is that every school, I'm sure, teaches 1, 2, 3, 4 or A, B, C, D. But the difference is with the people. So that makes all the difference. I can be an early educator, XYZ can be one, ABC can be one, but you're going to make the difference only when you are able to stretch out your arms, hug the child as your little one, and help that child with her insecurities and figure out what her strong points are and help her with. That's where you make your point. That's how you can help the child. There's no other way to it.
So do you think, of course, there are parents who are always very particular that the child, as the child moves across grades, that child must score a certain percentage. So do you think academics alone is sufficient for a child to succeed in life? And if not, why so?
Definitely not. I think we all come across stories where XYZ person is a gold medalist and is done fabulously well in college and during academics and everything. But when it comes to life by itself, he's nowhere in the picture. He's probably lost it in the rat race. So definitely academics or scoring high marks is just not what it takes. There are so many people out there who have not done well academically, but now if you look at them, you'll be like, wow, that's what they've achieved for themselves. We even have very successful 18-year-old YouTube vloggers, but they come out with such amazing content there. So it's not about high marks. Of course, education is a part of life. You have to educate yourself, but that's to, have a higher level of knowledge, probably broaden your wisdom and things like that, and use it, in a good way somewhere later on in the future. A child could be an excellent singer, and maybe that's where he's supposed to be in his future. Yeah. Marks is not going to play a great role there.
Yes, true. In today's times, we see that once a child comes back home, the child is sent for various classes, maybe art, dance, music, and robotics, and a whole lot of stuff. And probably the child reaches home only for the dinner. So, but in such times also, parents are actually looking at developing an all-rounder or so-called overall personality of the child. So as an educator, what would you like to tell the parents, that is there something that they can do in helping their child develop this kind of personality? Is there something they can do? My personal opinion in this is I am not a very big fan of having back-to-back classes post-school, because any of these, mostly what happens in such cases when parents enroll kids for such classes, they notice that the child is, very good at coloring and painting, and then, I think I need to put the child in, some painting class. Or the child dances well to a couple of Bollywood numbers or some other dance, and then we think, okay, he has to be a dancer, let's put him in a dance class. I'm sure the parents are trying to do their best for the child by saying that, okay, he has this talent and we're doing everything possible that, he or she can be the best in that. But what we forget sometimes is certain things are purely done as hobbies.
right? And the minute you put them in a class and we start telling them that you have to do it like this only, like that only, this is not perfect, that's not perfect, the shading has to come out like this, or the step has got this talam and you can't do this step here, etc., it ceases to be a hobby. The child in many scenarios starts looking at it just as any other class where the child has to do the same robotic routine work, and obviously the child is going to lose interest. So that's not the way. If the child has an interest, let him browse it. You can pick up a lot of materials if the child is interested in that. You can help him or her, you can have a lot of ideas. You probably can, if you still see the interest sustainable and the child evidently says that this is what I am interested in, you can definitely enroll the child for a class. No harms there. But let's not put the child back to back. Okay, he is good at music, so a piano class, then we have a dance class, and then we have a painting class, and then the child is back home at 8. You have the school homework, you have to score good marks. What are we doing, boss? That's stressful from day one. No.
Absolutely. I think I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And so coming to activities, how important are activities in Little Elly's curriculum, and how much of emphasis do you give to such activities?
So, as I said, we follow a mix of Montessori and Rudolph, the Waldorf method, which is extremely rare. That is one of the two best methodologies coming together here. So the emphasis is very high on hands-on activities, because that's how the child learns. Because as we say, experience is the best teacher. You can do a lot of pictures and story reading and tell them this is this and this is that and this is the experience I've had. But when they get involved and they do something, that is when they learn the best. So even if you look at the curriculum part of it, right from, emphasis on socialization, storytelling, enacting those characters, talking about how they feel, and everything is extremely important. So it's like, included on a everyday basis in some form or the other.
We usually have learning objectives for all age groups, that by the end of a particular year, we expect that children should know certain concepts, or even if it's not the regular stuff, but they should at least have an understanding of certain concepts. So in case a child or few children are not able to cope up, or they are not able to reach that level, so is there some kind of a support system at Little Elly, or what is the process that you follow to ensure that children are able to at least achieve those objectives?
See, one thing that we believe is, because we follow the Montessori system as well, that there's no point pushing a child beyond the limit. We give them their time to, settle down, pick up concepts, because many the less, sometimes what happens is the child a couple of months later is able to pick it up and will be at par with the rest of the kids. So sometimes all that matters is just about the time that you give and how patient you are with the child. But otherwise, yes, the teachers do take an extra effort to, see to it, or spend that little bit of extra time probably in the morning as soon as the child has come in. Even like those 10 minutes of extra help with the phonic sounds or something, it goes a very long way with the child, helping him or her read. So that is definitely taken care of by our team, and we have an excellent and wonderful team at that. So yes, we do take that individual or personal attention. Yes, we do.
That's amazing. I think the kind of world we are living in today is a world of digitization, and we can't shy away from that reality. But even a child probably who's as young as 6 to 8 months would know how to handle basics of a phone. And so when we are living in such time, how do you think we can really create curiosity among kids or make curious learners?
I think the first step starts with all the adults and parents or caregivers, whoever it is at home. The minute you have excessive knowledge in the form of a mobile sitting right in front of you, that is definitely going to, hinder the child's observation powers. That at some point, you can definitely have screen time. As you said, it's, a very it's a part of our lives now, and very young kids also know how to navigate through. So that can be done, but have a shorter span of everything. And curiosity again builds when you sit together, you talk about a lot of things, you understand a lot of things. That's where your questions come up from. That's exactly what we do at Little Elly also. Before we introduce a concept, there is a brief up given about it. We ask them, what do you think about this? It could be as simple as, okay, today we're going to make a custard fruit salad or something. For a child, it's just a custard fruit salad. But the whole hype can start 2 days before. After 2 days, what we're going to do? We're going to do something really yummy. Who's going to bring what? We're going to get some fruits. We are going to make something. Ma'am is going to make something very interesting. It's going to taste yummy. Let's see if it's going to be better than mama. That's how bring up that curiosity. That day morning, if you say, okay, these are the fruits and this is custard and then we are going to become a fruit. No, you will not see curiosity. So this is just a subtle example, but I think, this kind of thing should be built in, and the teachers should interact with kids in such a way where the process starts 2-3 days ahead of time, and you will see those kids coming in or going back home. There are parents who sometimes get back asking that, what are you going to do? Like even for the annual day, we had spoken to the UKG kids in such a way that, it's a huge surprise. If you go home and tell mama what is the song, the surprise is just going to go amiss. So you should just not telling. And we had parents coming back to say that he's just not ready to tell us which song it is. So I think everything, the excitement should be within us. When you give out that excitement, the kids are definitely going to absorb that. And that's how you build up curiosity, any small thing that is.
I think that can be a takeaway for many parents on how to build that excitement and curiosity at home as well. Absolutely. So coming to workforce, as we call them, our teachers, the pillars of any school.
Right.
What is the recruitment process that you follow at Little Elly to recruit the kind of teachers that you're looking for?
One thing that Ekta and I, both of us believe is we always look for the right attitude. If Ekta always keeps telling that, if your chemistry doesn't gel well and you feel the attitude of learning is amiss, then we're never going to make it. Your skill sets can be different. Skill sets are something which is, you can be trained for, you can acquire them and everything, but not your attitude. Attitude is you come with it. So we always look at people with whom we are able to communicate and gel well with as a team, as a family over here. Of course, most of our teachers are, very well educated. They're engineers, MBA, and things like that. But they've all left their corporate high-flying paying jobs to come and join us is only because of a lot of passion that they have towards this. The impact that they can make to a little one's life. Of course, the satisfaction that you get in return is, nothing can beat that in the world. So most of them come from that. Yes, initially when we screen them, we also have a demo session. We interact with them. We get them to interact with the kids. We see how good they are. And then is when, they become part of our team. But we've not had to do that exercise many a times because our staff has been continuing for a very long time now.
But then are there any specific qualities apart from probably their basic qualification that you actually look for in the teachers?
One is empathy and one is patience.
Okay.
Empathy is something you really need to think as to, how that child is feeling, because if you can't do that, then you are never going to become a good preschool teacher for sure. So that's something you have to look in. Yes, patience also comes in.
Absolutely. That's very true. So at the beginning of each session, there are schools which of course conduct induction and some kind of training program. So apart from these initial trainings, do you have some kind of a refresher training that happens during the course of the year as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you said, when we start the academic year, there is a whole set of training program. They go for a period of a week to 10 days. Where all their skill sets, there's a training given for each and every of that, including communication plus body language skill sets and stuff like that. Barring that, on a monthly basis also, once, the curriculum comes in, what needs to be done, how we can work it out to make it better, how we sit as a team and discuss that. So in the course of that, if there's anything, yes. As I said, even Ekta is also a child professional, early child professional. So she also comes with a lot of her own tips and things on how you can do. I come with my experience of a preschool teacher, so I come with that. So yes, we are able to. We really sit down and even show them sometimes that, in this scenario, this is how you have to do things. So that is taken care of on a regular basis. We also have monthly visits from the head office to check if the quality is at par and things like that. So yes, it's taken care of.
Coming to activities, one is that I'm sure you must be having something which is on a quarterly or monthly basis, but what are the major events that happen on an annual basis at your school?
See, activities that way happens throughout the year. Okay, so there are occasions where the grandparents are involved, like you have a grandparents' day out. Once the kids, the little ones who are coming to school for the first time, we have a Mother's Day out where the moms come to school. So these are, I said, the big, annual events that happen at school. We have a fundraiser event for Diwali where we conduct a mela kind of a thing, and all the proceeds of that mela, go into some charity home or things like that. You definitely have the Children's Day celebration, which is completely fun, top to bottom. And you have the Sports Day event again, plus the Annual Day. Annual Day, of course, is the culminating event of the year and the biggest also by said, because, a lot of things, a lot of kids coming there and participating and things like that. That becomes the biggest event of the year. But you will not have a single month where we don't have events. There's something every time, including festivals to everything is taken care of, like a yoga day, a earth day, how we can do it, the kids speaking about it, or storytelling session, some craft out of it. It's filled with activities throughout. Yes.
Sounds wonderful. I'm sure the parents and children alike must be really looking forward to all such activities.
They do. There are some parents who have been with us with their elder ones, and now they come back with the second ones. Are you guys still part of Little Elly? Okay, we don't want to inquire anything. This is here's that second one, and we're looking forward to the Mother's Day event. I want to do that. I want to do this.
Lovely. Since you have so many events, now when it comes to parent participation, whether it's any kind of, maybe you don't believe in homework, but any kind of work that is given for home or any kind of activities in school or events, what kind of participation do you expect from parents?
See, parents' involvement with a child being brought up is huge, immense. It's a hand in glove, right? It's not going to be working as two separate parameters. So even when we call them for the orientation, these are the simple things that, or tips that we shared with our parents, that it's going to be a partnership between us and the parents. So with everything, there is parent participation for sure. Whether it is the activities that are taking place in school, yes, parents are always part of it. Whether it is Janmashtami, it's an annual day event, or a Mother's Day out, parents are part of each and every activity. In the process of growth also, of course, they play a very, very, very big role. Even a simple thing of, making a casual remark of a teacher in front of your child goes a very long way. It carves a very different impression in the child's mind. So we even jot down those very small trivial things also, which is not so trivial for the child, and discuss this out with the parents. And the parents are more than happy to, follow those tips. Plus, they also are free to come to school and interact with us if there's a feedback. And we have, of course, grown over, so many years only through that. We have some parents have been really good to come and give us constructive feedback on which we have also worked and developed. So yes, kudos to all those parents as well.
I think it's so important to be open to feedback. Like you said, the constructive feedback that really helps one to grow. So what is the student-teacher ratio that you follow at school?
See, it's generally 1:10, of course, for the younger ones. But when you go to the LKG, UKG, it will be 1:15. And we always have an art and craft teacher and a daycare coordinator who are free, comparatively to the other teachers. They are freer during the daytime, and they also help out if there's a child who needs an additional help or the teacher needs some additional help. We have those teachers also. So you can actually say that there's always, two teachers whenever needed.
So you have a daycare facility, right? At both your centers?
We have a daycare facility.
Okay. And up to what time does it remain? I mean, what time is it extended to?
We have it around 7 in the evening.
Okay. Coming to a very important aspect of, one of the, I would say rather a parent's concern, today, especially in today's time, since few incidents have occurred in the past, is to do with their safety. And of course, government has mandated that there are certain safety protocols that schools have to follow necessarily. So at Little Elly, if you could throw some light on what are some of the safety steps that you have taken in order to ensure that children remain safe within the confines of the school.
Right. So the first most thing is once the kids come in, the gate is closed. It's locked. There are no strangers walking into the school, even if it's for an inquiry or whatever. And there are designated individuals for each and every work. We do not try to, have a teacher doing a coordinator's role or a center head even stepping into a coordinator. So we ourselves are there every time, but we also have a designated person who acts like the coordinator of the center and is there to, take care in case there's any requirement like this. We do have a CCTV surveillance available. Of course, it's not live streamed because that is somehow compromising on the other children's privacy as well. But we do have that. Again, we do not have male members as staff. The only male available in the school is the driver who does not have access to the school building. So these are the basic things. And of course, the parent, we'd have an open door policy. So in case the parents at any point of time want to come, they want to have a chat with us, they want to have a word with us, yes, that's most welcome. Plus, since I mentioned that there's no live, streaming of CCTV, if the situation demands, if there's something very specific that the parent wants to, if the situation warrants it, yes, that's also shared with the parent. Another thing is, Ekta and I are there at the center every single day. That makes a huge thing. So there's always, when a preschool child comes to school, for the parent also, we many a time forget that even parents are doing this for the first time. So yes. The most important, initially the separation anxiety, more so for the kids, it's for the parents. So once you settle the parents, there is a bond of trust, there's an emotional rapport which you develop. And then once that is developed, I do not think that, these questions will keep coming in. Again, the orientation is a day where we kind of, clear all these kind of doubts and anything of that sort. So yeah, these questions don't crop up during the year. Touch wood, nothing like that has happened so far either. So yeah, we're good to go there.
And we hope and pray that nothing like that happens anyway. So tell me towards the end that what was the eureka moment for you when you decided that you wanted to be an educator?
I'm someone who has always believed that I want to make a change in someone's life. But initially, of course, I didn't know how, when, and how this is all going to pan out. But I sincerely believed that you should be at least when I'm old, when I look back, I should say, okay, I made a difference to that life. But then when I became a teacher, I, of course, with older kids, the 4th and 5th grade kids, I started realizing that, they have a very different bond with the teacher. The love and the respect that they have is something very different. It's like, their parents, you're one pedestal even above that sometimes, many a times for that matter. So that was the moment when I started realizing, yes, that this is the line I have to look into. But I kind of did not enjoy it as much as what I, should with the older kids. Then when my son started going to school and I started seeing the activities and the things there, I realized, okay, this is somewhere I can really, make a mark. Of course, I started delving deep into it because that seemed to be my area of interest. And I realized that the first few years are the formative years. You need to make an impression. You have to make an impression there. They are going to be tomorrow's, future. So it could be a very simple thought. But even that simple thought, through storytelling or whatever, if you make a change today, it's made for his lifetime. So instead of singing a song of chubby cheeks, dimple chin, beautiful lips and teeth within and all that, you don't have to sing a rhyme like that. You're very unconsciously teaching the child that all this still exists, fair skin, blue eyes, dimple chin and everything. You can have a very simple story. You can have a princess who's, wearing a specs. You can have another child who is, probably having some other issues, whatever, and make it as simple as possible, as plain, and put it across to the child. There is where you make a difference. So yes, this is where I have to be. That is my eureka moment, I would say.
I can see the passion and love for this translate through whatever that you speak. And it's been such a pleasure speaking with you. And we hope and pray that you open many more branches, not just 2 centers.
Yes.
But the next time when we have you, hopefully along with Miss Ekta,
Yes,
that we will get to hear that yes, you have more than 2 branches.
Right.
And we wish you all the very best, and that may all the branches that you open scale greater heights. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
so
My
much.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.